Hello everyone, my topic is all about the approaches, methods, and techniques in teaching EPP. The classroom is a dynamic environment bringing together students from different backgrounds with various abilities and personalities. Being an effective teacher therefore requires the implementation of creative and innovative teaching strategies in order to meet the students' individual needs.
So, to help the young students understand that everyone learns differently, you can use the garden analogy. So, for example, is show the class a picture of a garden with different types of plants, for example, a cacti, roses, and some flowers, and explain that just like in a garden, a classroom has different plants. A cactus doesn't need much water, but a rose needs a lot. If you treat them exactly the same, one might not grow well. And ask the students to share one thing they are good at and one thing they find tricky, and conclude that the teacher uses different tools like videos, games, or drawings so that every plant in the room can be bloom in its own way.
Whether you have been teaching 2 months or 20 years, it can be difficult to know which teaching strategies will work the best with your students. So as a teacher, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. So here is a range of effective teaching strategies you can use to inspire your classroom practice. So approach, when we say approach, it is a set of assumptions that define beliefs and theories about the nature of the learner and the process of learning.
So the approach is the big idea, or this is what you believe about food. So if your approach is that healthy food makes you strong, then everything you do in the kitchen will be about staying healthy. So it is your philosophy or your why.
Method, it is an overall systematic presentation of the lesson based upon a selected approach. Some authors call it design.
So the method, or it is the recipe. Now that you want to be healthy, you need a plan. The method is like a recipe book. It tells you the steps to take from start to finish so you don't get confused. It is the step-by-step plan, or the how.
Techniques are the specific activities manifested in the classroom that are consistent with the method and therefore in harmony with an approach as well. Technique is referred to also as the task or activity.
So in technique, it is the kitchen skills. These are the actual things you do with your hands. Stirring up soup, peeling a carrot, or cracking an egg are all techniques. They are small actions that make the recipe work. It is this specific activity or the action.
The approaches, methods, and techniques in teaching EPP is the first type is the demonstration method. When we say demonstration method, it is a direct method of instruction. It is referred as the show and tell method. The teacher simply shows the students how a thing is done and explains, and she demonstrates. For an effective demonstration, it is necessary that the teacher mentions the do's and don'ts of the process for emphasis and clarity. It is important that a teacher demonstrate a process. He or she coaches the students on step of a skill where students are often mistaken or which are most often missed.
So, as a teacher, you should think the demonstration method is the watch me, then you way of teaching. It is a very hands-on visual approach where the teacher acts as a live model. So, instead of just talking about how to do something, the teacher does it right in front of the students. So, first is you perform the action and You explain what you are doing while you do it, and you point out where kids usually make mistakes so they can avoid them. So there are two types of demonstration: the demonstration of a product and the demonstration of a process. So when we say demonstration of a product, this focuses on the finished outcome. You show the students what the final version looks like so they have a mental model or a goal to reach. It emphasizes the quality and characteristics of the complete work. So for example is the show and describe method. Show the students a complete high-quality solar system model made of painted foam balls and wires. And instead of showing how you made it, you discuss the features of the finished product. Notice how Jupiter is the largest planet and how the rings of Saturn are titled, so the students understand the standard they are aiming for in their own project. The second is the demonstration of a process. This focuses on how you perform the task step by step in front of the students, explaining the logic behind each movement or action. This is about building the skill itself. So in the demonstration of the process is we do the I do, we do, you do method. So the teaching students how to solve a long division problem or how to find the home row on a keyboard. So in I do, you solve the problem on board and slowly, thinking out loud. First, I see how many times 2 goes into 4. And we do, you ask the class to tell you the next step while you write it. And in you do, the students try a similar problem at their desk. And the goal is for students to learn the sequence of actions required to achieve a result.
The second is the hands-on learning. Hands-on learning, more formally known as experiential education, reflects a teaching philosophy that promotes learning by doing. This strategy allows children to practice guided tactile learning in which they absorb knowledge not only by listening but also by experiencing.
In hands-on learning is to teach the concept of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation through hands-on learning. You can use the water cycle in a bag activity. So instead of just listening to a lecture or looking at the diagram in a book, students experience the cycle in real time. They can touch the rain through the plastic and see the physical change from liquid to vapor, making the abstract concept concrete and memorable. So generally speaking, the hands-on learning is learning through experience. The students handle the materials, equipment, and instruments in real time and manipulate it. It is obtaining the skills, knowledge, and competencies that are necessary. Working in hands-on way is presumed to extend a more thrilling and realistic experience of the content. The most verifiable researches bear evidence for this speculation that employing hands-on activities steers to positive motivational results. One of the benefits of hands-on learning environment is that the students will get a feel for materials and equipment that is commonly used in the workplace after the course. This is particularly good if the student is working with equipments and tools. One of the main reasons for accidents in the workplace comes from equipment and tools misuse. Knowing how to properly handle equipment increases the safety. The hands-on learning requires the students to engage in the education process using multiple senses, including sight, hearing, touch, known as multisensory learning. The hands-on teaching strategy engages the senses in a way that promotes learning comprehension on multiple levels. This practice allows the students to understand information and also use it.